You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get that. If you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. It's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So very, very important element of everything, of what we're doing, unrelated to today, but related in the sense that we'll do, if that passes, we'll do even more business with the UK. We'll have so much.
Boom! I wanted to start on that clip. I'm sure many of you haven't seen it. That was Trump yesterday, essentially telling people to go out and buy stocks in US companies. And you guys will know I'm far more optimistic on Trump's America economically than I am pessimistic, despite all the uncertainty around tariffs, which I think we're going to see a resolve to. And the markets are going to fix that correction on the back end of. As always, guys, welcome back for another jam-packed daily market update. We've got a lot to get into. There's so much happening in the cryptocurrency space. There's never been a better time to be an investor. And just yesterday, we find out that the SEC has now filed for a final settlement, with both parties coming to a fair agreement on the Ripple case. This is officially ending, ladies and gentlemen. This was sent by the SEC yesterday, and it talks about a settlement agreement attached. You can see that here. This is huge, huge news. Because it's officially over. XRP has won, or Ripple, Brad and Chris have won the case against the SEC, which I think rather interestingly was brought forward against Ripple ultimately to stifle and to keep retail away from XRP, because there is a very clear trajectory that it is on, and they perhaps don't want everybody benefiting from that, although you can. I honestly believe that technologies like XRP and XLM are going to be technologies that underpin tomorrow's financial system in regards to the oil that lubricates it. And I couldn't be more certain of that at this point. Just go and look at who's actually truly behind both XLM and XRP. We're going to do a video on that probably coming in the coming weeks, but this is huge news. Let's dive over to what Brad Garlinghouse is saying, or had to say yesterday. Stablecoins are exploding globally for their real-world applications. The sheer amount of recent announcement across crypto, fintech, and traditional finance should indicate as such. The sooner the US pass workable, clear rules, the faster it reaps the benefits of this technology. Obviously, yesterday we had the Genesis Act that was actually voted against. This is from Scott Bessent. For stablecoins and other digital assets to thrive, the world needs America's help. The Senate missed an opportunity to provide that leadership today by failing to advance the Genesis Act. This bill, or Genius Act, sorry, I've been calling it the Genesis Act. This bill represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to expand dollar dominance and US influence in financial innovation. Without it, stablecoins will be subject to a patchwork of state regulations instead of a streamlined federal framework that is more conducive to growth and comprehensiveness. The world is watching while American lawmakers twiddle their thumbs. Senators who voted to stonewall US ingenuity today face a simple choice: either step up and lead, or watch digital asset innovation move offshore. So stablecoins are the evolution of money. I truly believe that, and they need to adopt stablecoins to introduce a purchaser to the debt markets. They also want to do it to further dollar dominance. And this is kind of Brent Johnson's milkshake theory, I guess, or an accelerant of that. Stablecoins, I always get the question, well, if you bullish on stablecoins, how are you going to make any money because they're pegged to $1? Forget the stablecoins, right? Look at the technologies that are going to enable those. And you can find them very easily. Go and look at stablecoin TVL and look at what networks facilitate that, or facilitate the backing, the tokenization of the assets that back those stablecoins. And they're the ones that are going to have hundreds or tens at least of trillions of dollars potentially running upon them. And I think their market caps are going to grow significantly as a result of that. So there's a hell of a lot happening, even though there was some negative news on the Genius Act, and it is negative. ultimately, you know, this is coming in one way, shape, or form. If not on the first, try the second. The Ripple news is huge. What Trump said yesterday was, quite frankly, interesting to say the least. And I want to play a quick clip of John Thune and what he had to say in regards to the Genesis Act, because what he ultimately says is that cryptos are becoming a part of the financial system. And we're at this kind of infancy stage with the industry as a whole, although there's been a lot of groundwork put in for years now. We're at this infancy stage, and there's a great opportunity in regards to the merging or the use and utility of this technology to totally innovate finance. That's something we've never seen before. Most crypto cycles have been driven on speculation. Now we're going to see utility plus speculation. We're looking at one of the greatest bull markets for altcoins ever, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about some price action towards the end of the video, but let's go ahead and play this clip.
The US dollar. They offer the speed and security of the blockchain with the stability and usability of a dollar bill. And they're a business and consumer-friendly way of making payments. Mr. President, hundreds of billions of dollars of stable coins are in circulation today. The vast majority are dollar-denominated. But in the United States, stable coins have operated in a legal gray zone. Stablecoin issuers trying to follow the rules can't be sure what rules to follow. The Biden administration chose to regulate crypto companies by arbitrary enforcement measures. Regulators filed numerous lawsuits against crypto firms, and these hostile actions led a number of U.S.-based companies to consider moving out of the United States altogether. Mr. President, I think we all agree the United States should be the world's leader in financial innovation. Stablecoins should be made in the USA, but we can't lead in innovation if there's no clarity for the innovators. The Genius Act provides that clarity. It's the first step in bringing digital assets into our financial system by setting a clear framework for stablecoins. To be clear, Americans are already using stablecoins and will continue to use them with or without this legislation. What this bill does is establish a framework that protects consumers and safeguards national security while promoting that innovation right here in the United States.
Unfortunately, that was voted against or stonewalled by the opposition, but it's coming in one way, shape, or form, and stablecoins offer a great opportunity as an investor looking for the technology that's going to underpin them. Also, this is huge, huge news. Meta, with 3.3 billion active users, is in talks with crypto firms to deploy stablecoin payouts. Stripe have now also launched stablecoins. And I won't tell you, there's one company that Stripe were the sole investor in to get it off the ground back in, I think, 2014. And they're all still on the board of this crypto project. Join the community, guys. There's a link in the description. You'll know what I own. You also get 2 weekly meetings with me and early release content in the form of podcasts with guests that we do and things like that. So this is huge. Exclusive. Meta is in talks to deploy stablecoins 3 years after giving up on landmark crypto project. Of course, for anybody who doesn't know about Libra and what happened there, Facebook went to create their own cryptocurrency. It was basically, or they were basically told they're not allowed to do that. The developers of that cryptocurrency that had been working on it ended up founding Sui and I think Aptos. And there's huge buzz around Sui, I think, largely because of that reason and some of the things they're doing. You know, they've got a cool sort of language set for developing that could be the new way. But this is huge. Every day we cover insane news, and I think people get frustrated because the price doesn't move instantly on it. Well, these things take time, but what we're doing is looking at what's underpinning this industry right now, some of the players that are moving towards it, and that appreciation comes, later on down the line. I truly, truly believe that. And talking about appreciation, let's talk a little bit about price. You guys know the score when it comes to Bitcoin and what I ultimately think technically, and it's important to keep an eye on Bitcoin because it is that tide that rises and sinks all ships. But what we did do was we actually looked, Bitcoin's just been continuation structure after continuation structure. We looked on the daily at this falling wedge. It's essentially played out, and we looked at them for a variety of altcoins. We looked at them for the total cryptocurrency market cap, crypto ETPs, which had a great day yesterday, and they're all performing. All of these we looked at pre-break. They're all taking place today. And, Ethereum, I guess, was the real winner yesterday. Look at this for a candle on Ethereum. This is showing that I believe ultimately the pullback's over, which has been shown by Bitcoin, which has been shown by the totals. We've got coins like Hedera, which are just about to start making their journey. We've got miners. I mean, MicroStrategy was one thing that we highlighted. Look at this for a perfect falling wedge that was spotted by us here on the channel and gave us confidence this pullback was over. We do believe that's absolutely the case, and we're going to see further continuation to the upside. And there's all this amazing fundamental news that accompanies it. Stock market, yeah, you know, this is real resistance. This could be some sort of a head and shoulders. We need to see this entirely retraced. So far, we've done 65% of the pullback really caused by all of this. We've retraced 65% on kind of more positive news. Continuation of that is going to be a great thing. And despite the Fed being rather blunt or what would be the word here, dull, really, about the whole situation, crypto is doing sensationally well, and we expect that to continue. I think we're looking at one of the greatest creations of wealth that I would certainly have ever seen in my lifetime, and you guys would have as well, due to the nature of the size of the monetary system. Now is the best time to be in the cryptocurrency space. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. If you're not subscribed to this channel, it's about time you do so. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you. I'll see you all in tomorrow's Daily Market Update. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.